your opening statement on the comeback.
Yep. My message all week has been pretty consistent with these guys for the last couple of weeks. Winning is contagious, and losing is around the corner. And for the first 20 minutes of that game, thought we were going to give it away. I knew exactly who St. Joe's were. Rasheer Fleming, Eric Reynolds, local kid. This was a phenomenal game. I thought that these guys showed the resilience they've showed all season long. And to come out in the second half and only allow 20 points, I think that's an indictment on who they are. These guys deserve all the credit, and down the stretch, I thought they found a way, and I don't care how you get it, I'll take it.
Questions for the student athletes first?
Katie, how much were both taking care of the ball and finding a way to get the foul line priorities at halftime?
That was major, especially when, our offense not really picking up, so we trying to just find any way that we can, get the ball in the hoop or get something going for us.
Jalen, just kind of want to ask you, in the last possession, the work of what he was able to do kind of on Brown, what did you think of what he was able to do hanging in there?
That was a good effort, but that's just not just Woody, that's our routine, We have a tend to switch pretty much everything when it comes to like a set plan, and we all guard pretty well, so nobody helped, thankfully, and we trust Woody to get the stop.
Either one of you, what changed in the second half with their three-point shooting? I know they made some over-contest in the first half, but in the second half, they certainly didn't get the looks that they had gotten in the first 20 minutes.
I'll say that, we was more attentive to their catch-and-shoot shots. They really made catch-and-shoot shots late and, off-the-dribble shots late. So, we just was very aggressive, running off handoffs, being there at the level of ball screens to make them pass the ball so the other people on the team could score.
I'll chime in on that. We also went into halftime, and I used a bunch of bad words. But more importantly, we always watch film at halftime, and we had to watch all 7 made threes just to kind of see the way that they made it. It was all self-inflicted. I would say maybe 2 or 3 were clean looks, but the other 4 or 5, we called Woody hands on the catch, on arrival. We didn't have Woody hands. We didn't switch out aggressively. And this is too good of a team to allow to get those kind of shots. And they saw themselves. It's one thing to be out there. It's one thing to see yourselves. And they made that adjustment. Credit to those guys in the second half.
For either player, being down as much as 16 in the first half, Coach kind of mentioned a little bit of what he said at halftime, but just what was said at halftime between the players to kind of rally and, keep them the 20 points in the second half and come out with another win.
Just win the first 4 minutes. We seen us stuck to that plan, and after that, we were just rolling.
And I'll say, we stayed together. We talked about what we had to do. In the second half, we punched them down first. Started a little 8-0 run. So, we just the more aggressive team at the start of the second half.
Another big game for you, Jalen. Just what did you see in the second half? I know that some of their bigs were getting in foul trouble. Did that kind of open up a little bit the paint for you to kind of dominate late in the second half?
Especially, just staying the course. I scored the first bucket for us. And, I was just staying the course, not trying to force anything. And, I made my free throws there, so that's a plus. So getting to the line and making free throws is a big deal for us.
Katie, Jalen, this question's for both of y'all. It seems like this team is very role-oriented. You guys know what your job is and how effective you guys have to be in order for you guys to play well as a team. Both, Katie and Jalen, how do you guys embrace your role, especially Katie, you in the second half? The past couple of games, you've had a bunch of offensive and defensive key plays that have helped this winning streak. How do you and Jalen sort of embrace that? And on that note, Jalen, it seemed like the ball was going a lot through you this second half, and it seemed like the team needed you more than ever. So just what is it like embracing that role, and as the season's progressed, how comfortable do you guys feel, in your own jobs?
Just coming out there and just helping my team in any way. This is my last year, so I'm trying to make history as much as I can here. So me just being detailed with everything I do and later on in the game is very important for us to get the win. So just coming to do my job every game.
I'll say as a team aspect, we all got roles, and I feel like as a team, we are perfecting our roles in each way. This team is really talented, so Tonight was my night. The last night it was Woody's night. So any given night, you know, on our team, you know, anybody can have like a pretty good game. And I'll just say for me personally, the game tonight, you know, my teammates were making plays, and you know, my teammates also to be aggressive because there was no doubling. So I just tried to make the best of my plays and put the ball in the basket.
And KD, defensively, you have been in different conferences over the course of your career. How has Coach Skinn helped you on the defensive end, and what have you learned from him that has helped you be as successful as you've been here?
Just being more mature and more sound, you know, just knowing when to reach and when not to. You know, he let me know when I can foul, you know, and it's not to put them in the bonus or anything. It just could be a dead play right now. So just learn when to just be over-aggressive and just slowing down and just sticking to the plan.
Anything else for the student athletes? Okay, thanks guys.
Sounds
Appreciate
good.
it.
Tony, getting to the line, particularly through Jalen, seemed like a priority absolutely from the start of the second half. Was that maybe even as much a message as the three-point defense?
Yeah, it was our intention to start the game. You know, the big fella's the best shot blocker in the league. You know, he changes the dynamic of the game if he's in foul trouble, and I thought we didn't really stick to that plan early on. But in the second half, once he picked up his second or third foul, I wanted to be intentional with getting the ball inside the Jalen and going right at him. Unfortunately, we fouled him, and down the stretch, there just wasn't anything that they can do with Jalen Haynes. He's the best big man in his position in our league, and if it's a one-on-one matchup, good luck.
How hard is it for a team that looked sluggish for 16, 20 minutes or so to flip it the way that you did, even if there was also maybe another offensive drought?
Yeah, I think, you know, again, we're not perfect. I just thought, you know, they wanted it more than us. And, you know, everyone right now, this time of the year, everyone's playing for something. We're obviously trying to win the league. You know, they're right there where, you know, they're kind of reminiscent of our team last year where, you know, one or two possessions go in our favor and we're getting a double bye. And so everyone's fighting for something. And I thought that they came in the game with that mindset, and we were just kind of just coasting. We've been so good for so long, we think we can just turn it on. And that's the one thing you can't do against a talented team like St. Joe's. And to be honest with you, to be down 16 against a team like this, it was going to require a perfect second half. And that's what we did.
Coach, in the first half, turnovers were an issue at times. It seemed like they were more physical. They were bumping your ball handlers off the ball and those type of things. Yeah. Was it just simply challenging them in the second half, or did you make some sort of adjustment?
No, that was on me. You know, that was on me. I thought that, you know, normally we press, we get after it, but against this team, 20% of their offense, it comes in the first 8 seconds of the shot clock. And I didn't want to just give them points. And so I'm watching our pace, the way we pressure, it wakes us up. It's not just because I just want to press and just look like we're playing tough defense. It's something that speeds us up in our mind, and then we start getting after it, especially when you have KD and Jared in my front line. And I just thought that in the second half, I had to buzz them a little bit. And fortunately, you know, I was able to get Jared Billups in there early with Woody's third foul. And I just told him, like, we're not pressing, we're picking up full court. Slow them down, because that's what they did to us. I can't have a team come in my gym and do what we do to other people, and that was the adjustment.
And, you know, you're still a relatively young head coach. How do you not get caught up when opposing coaches have so many conversations with the officials, and how do you prevent yourself from getting caught up into that?
Yeah, I'm a young coach, but I've been playing the game for a long time at a high level. So I've seen it on both sides. I got a lot of respect for Billy Lang, not just because I'm here at Georgia Mason. I've known Billy for a while. And so, you know, he's doing what he can for his team. It's a road game. I respect it. But down the stretch, I got to just focus on what I can control, and that's really my team. And I thought down the stretch from an execution standpoint, especially offensively, we got what we wanted, and that's where the focus went.
And with your three-headed point guard, at this point in the season, your decision on minutes, is it just simply based on matchups and who's doing what at that time?
Yeah, it's a flow of the game. Those guys kind of understand it. Lately, it's been trending towards KD kind of finishing the game as he should. You know, he's a fifth-year senior. He's got more experience, more minutes than those guys at the highest level. I thought that Braden, I needed to get Darius Maddox back in the game, but as we're fighting, I'm not taking a guy that's defending his butt off to put in another guy that just hasn't been in the game. That's just the flow of the game. And I thought my coaches, my assistants, they did a phenomenal job of just kind of getting guys in that needed to be in down the stretch right there.
Coach, it was like 9 or 10 minutes left in the game, and all of a sudden it felt like the level of intensity and energy from the fans at EVA just kind of went up another notch or two. Do you guys kind of feel that? Because that kind of was around the turning point.
Yeah, I'll speak for myself. I always feel it. And I actually had a moment where I felt it, and I just kind of encouraged the crowd even more. That's been a major piece of our success. This building has been rocking lately, and we still have 2 more games, and we're gonna need everyone. And so we felt it. Guys came in a huddle; they were talking to each other. And again, it's unfortunate because you don't want to put yourself in that position where you're down, 3, 4, 5 possessions, and then you got to just buzz yourself into being ultimate warriors down the stretch. I would rather avoid that, but at the end of the day, the collective effort, this whole building, our guys, we were able to just connect it together and get a really good, above solid, conference win.
An entire week until you go take on VCU and what might be the deciding factor of who comes out the top seed and whatnot. Just how important is it that you guys do have an entire week and don't have some middle game of the week?
It's a gift and a curse. I can't remember. We came off our bye week. Help me out here, Mark. We came off a bye week and we had Loyola Chicago. I think the only thing that, just kind of thinking about that stretch, the only thing that gave me comfort was Loyola Chicago also had a bye week. Obviously not the case for going down to VCU. I believe they play on Tuesday or Wednesday. But it is what it is. Those things, you can't control it. It's not going to make a difference. We're going to get on that bus and take that 2-hour ride with the same mindset. It's just another game. It doesn't matter who it is. I respect VCU. I think it's a hell of a program. I would love for us to get them twice a year. But until then, we're going to go down there. We're going to compete at the highest level.
You guys kind of been under the radar for a while now, but now 11 straight wins, starting to get a little bit more attention, not just on a local scale, but maybe a little bit more on the national scale. How do you guys embrace that new attention that you guys are kind of getting here on the back end of this schedule?
Yeah, if you look at our roster, man, we got a bunch of kind of under the radar, chip on their shoulder, blue collar guys, including myself. And the one thing we do as a group, as a staff, we're very phenomenal in just messaging to these guys. At the end of the day, we're doing really good. But if you look around the country at all different leagues, like I said, losing is around the corner. And so you have to enjoy the highs, but just kind of understand that you have to make sure that you're locking in. We spend so much time watching film. My assistants do a phenomenal job in scouting the other team and our opponents. And these guys do a phenomenal job of just making sure they lock into the scout for the most part. But for us, man, these guys are having fun and just trying to take it one day at a time.
Coach, how much did the loss against St. Joe's last year in the tournament affect or have any bearing of motivation for this game, just in general, maybe for you more specifically?
Yeah, no, I think it was in the back of my mind somewhere. They actually got us there at their place. We should have won that game. And then, in the tournament, we just got down. Would they do well? They did it in the first half, made a bunch of threes. But, I wasn't thinking about that game, to be honest with you.
And then the second thing, the momentum seemed to be all over the place in the second half, really a roller coaster second half. How do you keep the team level-headed and, consistent throughout that stretch?
Yeah, just, again, I say it all the time. These guys have to have so much poise, whether you're up 20 or whether you're down 15. And I give myself some credit. I had the poise of not losing my what, and just in those timeouts, really just trying to focus on. I wanted to win the first time out, and we did that. I think +8, like Jalen said, and all of a sudden we were right back in the game, and then we gave it right back to them. It's a seesaw of a game, man. That's the game we play, and you just have to be able to have your composure down the stretch. Each possession matters. We won by 1. And so I'll give credit to these guys for just kind of staying locked in and not necessarily playing a score, but just playing the possession. And it's a big testament to why we only allowed 20 points in the second half.
Coach, with about 13 minutes left in the second half, they went on a run, obviously basketball, game of runs. You elected not to go with the timeout. How much was that trusting your unit as well as knowing that it might get tight down the stretch, I might need to have a few.
You said they went up 13?
No, with about 13 minutes left, they went on maybe like a 6-8-0 run.
Yeah, well, I didn't think I needed to call a timeout because I think at one point we either tied the game or we were up one, and then they went on their run. I don't think that's the time to call the timeout. Maybe another possession if they score again, but at the end of the day, I thought that we were right back in the game and we just needed to just kind of settle in a little bit. I saw the fatigue on their end in their front court, and I wanted to kind of attack them. But I didn't think in that moment, we already kind of fought our way back. I didn't think a timeout was necessary.
Last question from you, Coach. Do you see any parallels with your team in 2006? And are there any similarities with your own success as a player?
Yeah, I mean, I'll say this, man. These guys are special, and to be honest with you, I want to make sure that they get their own credit just because they're doing a phenomenal job, and there are some similarities. I enjoyed my time here at George Mason with my teammates, Coach Lamar Butler. But my plan and my goal is to make sure these guys get their own ride. Sometimes it gets a little bit redundant to talk about the 2006 Final Four team, to be honest with you. But there are some similarities. I'd say probably if you look at the standings, we're number one in our league. But if you look at the individual leaders in scoring, there's not one guy in the top 20. That's very similar to our Final Four team. I think me and Jai averaged like 12 a game. Lamar, Will, and Fowler averaged like 10 or 11 a game, and none of us were in the top 20 in scoring. But we played all the way to the final weekend in NCAA tournament, and so I would say that's the similarity. But for the most part, these guys are setting their own. They're making their own legacy, and I love the way we're trending, and I want to keep it there.
Anything else for Tony? Okay, thank